Hi, this is Neal Sutton. Just want to put a quick video out, and that I figured out how to do videos on this newer phone that I have. It's in reference to what's been going on with my share of the assets for the marital property at 1255 Johnson Grove Lane. As most of you that follow me through my personal Facebook account, with the documentation that's been put up and so forth, I just want to reiterate on that. The federal bankruptcy court, or United States Bankruptcy Court for the state of Maryland, in an adversary proceeding, determined that I do have ownership in that property, and there was a motion for default judgment that was approved or granted by the courts in 2019, verifying this. In that motion, there was a lane of prejudice, is I believe how it's written, stating that I am owed half the current value of the home on 1255 Johnson Grove Lane with prejudgment interest back to December 15th, 2005. This ruling came down on February 19th, 2020. The judge also ordered an evidentiary hearing that took place on September 24th, 2020. I believe that's the correct date, in which he re-verified that he does feel that I have significant ownership in the home after receipts and other evidence showing of my contributions to that marital home, along with testimony given for where Susan Billings, my ex-wife, had stated in an earlier court case that she agreed to put my name on the deed once I sold my home, and stated that while she was on the stand in that Anne Arundel County case, that she changed her mind afterwards. Furthermore, evidence was produced that she went and got a home equity line of credit, without my knowledge, of course, 3 weeks after I sold my marital home. The federal judge, David Rice, determined that she had committed contractual fraud as well. On top of this, Judge David Rice ordered a sui supra court order to Anne Arundel County, citing them for violation of federal bankruptcy state law from dismissing and for dismissing my marital awards claim and awarding everything to Susan back at the hearing in 2014. This was submitted over to the Anne Arundel County Circuit Court. I believe it was November 2020, citing them for violation of law, ordering them to reopen a divorce case, and ordering them to settle the property litigation. The rulings had already been made regarding the home in the federal bankruptcy case. What that was meant to do was settle the other property litigation regarding the $1.2 million worth of collectibles that Susan K. Billings damaged, destroyed, and hid in storage, and including the missing items. So what happened, Anne Arundel County Court did reopen the case, but they listed the court order as an exhibit in the case. They did not list it as a court order by the United States Bankruptcy Court to them. It was my understanding that they had to set the dates and so forth to have a hearing, so this could be presented along with the rulings done in the United States Bankruptcy Court adversary proceeding 1:19 AP 00190, and there was a relevant case that was included of 1:19 AP 00135. These court rulings were posted online through the Pacer Monitor site and so forth. Unbeknownst to me, the Anne Arundel County Circuit Court failed to send transcripts that were requested regarding the previous hearings, and then for the third time, they dismissed the case in Anne Arundel County Circuit Court. The judge had ordered a status report from the bankruptcy court last year on what was going on, as he had stayed his case until the matter was resolved in Anne Arundel County Circuit Court. In that status report, it was included due to the complacency of Anne Arundel County Circuit Court at resolving the issues. Judgment was requested out of the federal bankruptcy court. What's happened from there, I was waiting to get another status report to request the judgment enforcement again through my attorney. In between the time that Anne Arundel County dismissed the case for the third time, knowing that they were violating federal bankruptcy laws from the beginning, and between that time and the time of the July 14th court-ordered status report from Judge David Rice in the bankruptcy court, Miss Billings sold the property, took off to Carolina, to Willow Creek, North Carolina, failed to give me my share of the assets from the home as she was ordered to do in a default judgment in a United States bankruptcy case that with the previous numbers listed. It's now created some major issues with the new purchasers of the home and with the real estate companies as well as the titling company. The titling company should have found, given the fact that the federal court cases were publicly posted online when they did a title and record search, to show that, hey, there's legal issues going on regarding the property at 1255 Johnson Grove Lane. I have spoken with the Anne Arundel County Court Clerk's Office. They did review the Anne Arundel County Circuit Court case. Miss D noticed a lot of indiscrepancies within the Anne Arundel County Circuit Court. Went and spoke to a judge about it. The judge there is requesting something in writing for a review for this case and a request for reopening. The fact was they had a court order telling them they violated law. You need to correct this. You need to take care of the property litigation and correct this. There were already rulings in the United States bankruptcy court that they did not review, that they did not do anything with. Now Miss Billings has taken off with my share of the assets that she was court ordered to pay out through that granted motion for default and a prejudgment interest back to 2005. This is how somebody gets away with stealing somebody else's property, stealing somebody else's assets. It's going to be a long, drawn out, another few years to try to get this resolved. However, a lot of this does fall back on Anne Arundel County Circuit Court. Judge Gieske, who stepped down off the bench after facing criminal charges in another matter, and Judge William C. Mulford, who has completely ignored the federal court rulings in regards to selling this. So I do hold Anne Arundel County Circuit Court and Judge Mulford is highly responsible for what has happened here in enabling Miss Susan Billings, a.k.a. Susan K. Smith, a.k.a. Susan K. Sutton, a.k.a. Mary S. Sutton, a.k.a. Susan S. Sutton, as the person enabling this woman to violate the law and steal from me The federal bankruptcy case, the adversary proceeding was filed for $1.4 million. She failed to show for court, which is the reason why the default judgment came down. When you fail to show for court, when you are summoned to appear in court as a defendant and you offer no defense, that is an admission of guilt legally. And that's why this default ruling went down. The courts even sent her a letter, which they sent me a copy as well, stating that she was in violation of law under Section 7055 of the Bankruptcy Code. Needless to say, I am highly upset that the Anne Arundel County Circuit Court violated constitutional law and violated the federal judge's ruling citing them for violating law, and allowed this to continue to go on for as long as it has, and it will continue to have to be stretched out through a legal process. It's been very expensive over the last 10 years, and it's going to continue to be an ongoing issue. What has happened to our legal justice system? Why do we have judges on the bench, such as Judge Mulford, who took an oath to uphold the law and uphold justice, that repeatedly has violated the law, repeatedly violated a federal court ruling? And it is written in Article 5 of the United States Constitution under the Supremacy Act, that when there's a discrepancy between a higher court and a lower court, the federal court has superseding authority. So this is another law that was violated. Is this what America has come to, that you can go ahead and break the law? The victims have no rights. Their civil constitutional rights are stolen from them because someone breaks the law. This isn't right. This home sold for $725,000. This home, I was entitled to half of the sale of that home. By court order, by court ruling, I was entitled, and I still am entitled, to prejudgment interest back to December 15th, 2005. Where is the enforcement of this court ruling? What is going on here? Someone explained to me the constitutional laws that I was taught as a child coming up through school in our United States Constitution. When did it disappear? When did those legal rights disappear? Someone explain that to me. Please, I'm asking for suggestions. I'm asking for help, to help me understand what has happened to the United States of America, what has happened to constitutional rights, what has happened to the rule of law, a nation that's supposed to be of laws. As a result of all of this happening, of the violations of laws, I've lost my home, I've lost my assets, I'm currently renting in the hood in Baltimore, in Brooklyn section of the city of Baltimore, Maryland, because I do have to pay other bills. I do have to survive. I have to live. This isn't living. This is existence as far as I'm concerned. My home was stolen from me. My share of the marital property was stolen from me. Granted, I believed that you're supposed to have trust in a marriage. When I got married, I believed this woman. She worked for Anne Arundel County Public School System, so I assumed she was okay. She was a government employee working around 180 kids. I had no idea that she had a previous criminal record for DUI, had a probation issued against her for a year, and had her driver's license suspended for the year. She never notified the school system of that. I was unaware of her mental health issues at the time. There were periods that she was very moody with me, which she described as premenopause causing it. The only thing I knew about her that she had a medical issue that does create some mild depression. This was totally different from what was found out through a diary that she had given me and told me to use if I ever needed to, I took it to a psychiatrist that explained to me the severity of her mental health issues. By this time, she was acting out in a different personality. And as it was explained to me by licensed psychiatrists, with what they read and with one of these professionals personally meeting her and seeing her go off in two different personalities, that she was taking the aggression out on me for what she has claimed in this diary through the 77 pages that her brother had done to her repeatedly as a child. There's accusations of molestation by her brother, with accusations of another brother watching. She described this in detail. In this diary, through chants and other things. She also discussed it with me when I questioned her about it. I did everything I could do to work with her through her issues, and this is what I got for it in return. There were continual death threats. There were fires set on the property, at the marital property, constant death threats at this property. She called into my job, making threats to kill Captain Michael Szymanski with DC Fire and EMS, and threatening to kill me. Captain Michael Szymanski had typed a report to Fire Chief Craig Dean regarding one of the threats that was used as evidence in court, but the captain was not in court to testify that he had typed that special report to the fire chief. There's just been so much to this, it's kind of hard to list everything at one time. But she had also called back in there a year after the dismissal of that protective order, even though the judge dismissed the protective order because Captain Szymanski wasn't there to testify. He wrote the report to the fire chief. It was signed by him. It's an official government document. Judge Elaine Riley did determine that she was responsible for all the threats, including the threat that I received at the White House while I was on a helicopter landing with the fire department, that I reported to Secret Service. I got a lot of bad rap. I was suspended for reporting that death threat by Washington, D.C. Fire Department. That still has not been corrected. And there was another issue by D.C. Fire Department. They suspended me, claiming I trespassed on the property. Assistant Fire Chief Craig Baker wrote in page 1 of this appeals report that the protective order had been dismissed, which it was. They were sent the document signed by Judge Elaine Riley verifying there was no protective order, that it was dismissed on June the 6th, 2012. But nevertheless, on this appeals process, Assistant Fire Chief Craig Baker of Washington, D.C. Fire Department stated it had been dismissed. Then he cited an agreement that was proven in the courts not to be a legal document to suspend me, claiming I violated a protective order in December of 2012, when that protective order was dismissed in June 6, 2012, as verified by Judge Elaine Riley. This was forwarded up, and then I was eventually suspended by the fire chief for this. This is how ludicrous and damaging this has been to my character as a minister, as an honorary doctorate of divinity, as a firefighter, and as an EMT. Not to mention all the other threats that were coming in. They were constantly being documented, police reports being done in multiple jurisdictions. The ones that happened here in Baltimore, Anne Arundel County they'd shift me back over to Anne Arundel County. Anne Arundel County would shift me back to Baltimore. The ones and it was just going crazy. And Washington, D.C. Fire Department kept shifting everything back over to Anne Arundel County. Susan was living at the marital address in Anne Arundel County. I was living at the current address I'm at now here in Baltimore. I've had to deal with windows being bashed out on my truck. Again, the fires. Fire Marshal Orsini from Anne Arundel County Fire Marshal's office went to the then State's Attorney Wes Adams to have Susan Billings charged for arson and attempted arson. He reviewed all the documentation. He had the private investigator's report, in which the police and fire investigator had concurred that they believe Susan Billings was responsible for the acts of destruction in and around Sutton family residence. At that time, she was going by the name Susan Sutton. However, there was a lot of evidence. There was pictures from the fires. There was the incident report numbers, the police reports being done. There was a lot of evidence, and I still have nearly 4,000 pages of documents and pictures of what has been going on. Plus, it's been posted up on my Facebook account for years. But this is what I've had to deal with. And, and now she's walked. She's gone down to her niece and nephew's house, Stephanie and Jason Jackson down in Willow Creek, North Carolina, with my share of the assets that I'm entitled to by this court order. I don't want to have anything else to do with her. I'd like to get some answers to some unanswered questions. I just want my share of my assets that I'm legally owed so I can go on with my life. I'd like to put this behind me and be able to go forward. But this is still tied up. It's going to be tied up in courts, and I'm not going to back down. There's a lot of money at play that would put me back into a home like I had purchased 6 months prior to marrying Susan. I'm not looking for the Taj Mahal. I'm looking for simple enjoyment. I'm looking for a home of my own, one story, modular, manufactured home, it doesn't matter, in a peaceful area to where I can enjoy sitting out on a deck, drinking tea at night, listening to soft music, running my outdoor trains, which I still have a few of them. A lot of the stuff was destroyed by her. I still have about 35 train engines out of the 70 plus train engines that I had just in the G scale. A lot of the N scale engines were destroyed by her. I mean, this lady was just off the hook. She ripped up 6 Bibles of mine. She ripped up my doctrines. She ripped up my minister's license. She stolen fire department manuals I had, ripped those up. She put used cat litter, meaning poop and piss in that cat litter, into a box of my uniforms, destroyed my uniforms. She set Washington, D.C. fire and EMS patches on fire, right where the American flag was. She went to the point, and I still have the pictures up in storage. Her own parents' wedding picture, she broke that up. That was in a gold-framed picture frame. She ripped up her own bachelor's degree. I found that in storage. Receipts for what was done to the home with both of her names. I was only able to find partial accounting for all the receipts, but what receipts I had were produced to the judge at the evidentiary hearing as evidence, along with pictures of what was done at the house over the years and so forth. So, I just can't believe we live in America, but yet I've been treated like I'm a piece of crap throughout our legal justice system for exercising my rights and so forth. As far as Miss Billings, she stuck the middle finger up at the court system, at Judge David Rice, the U.S. Bankruptcy Court, and has included her own family members in aiding and abetting her in breaking the law. This includes Charles Billings from Nichols Bethel United Methodist Church, the church that I go to. This includes her late brother, Ronald Billings. This includes her late sister, Ann Meade, who sat there and gave false testimony on the witness stand at the divorce hearing, and the judge didn't want to look at the actual police reports and so forth showing that, yes, we were living at the same address, that this was our marital address, and even her attorney had admitted this was our marital home. So this is what I've been dealing with. I'm quite frustrated about it. There's no doubt on that. I'd be lying if I said I wasn't frustrated. Does it make somebody angry? Most certainly. I may be a Christian, but that doesn't mean I'm not a human being because I'm a Christian. I get angry, I get sad, I get mad. Whatever the case will be, I hurt. I mean, the Bible teaches us we're going to be persecuted. In the Holy Bible, that Christians will be persecuted. But this level of persecution, that I've had to deal with over the years, it's been ridiculous. All I can do right now is put my feelings out on what's going on in this video and explain the facts of what has happened. If anybody has any questions to verify these facts, go back and look at the postings through my Facebook account, Neal Sutton, parentheses, real deal. And go back and look back to 2015 when I went back on Facebook. Look at the damages that were done. Look at the death threats that were painted on the doors. Look at everything. Look at the court records. Look at the default judgment. Look at the motion that was granted, and that's come in controversy with the other courts because it had not an order on it. The reason why that document had not an order on it, if you look at the top left-hand corner, it stated that a civil service form needed to be submitted, and it was submitted. So that's why the judge granted that default judgment against Susan on February 19th, because the court was satisfied the additional document that needed to be submitted was submitted. So that motion stands as the motion for the default judgment. There would have been no default judgment had that motion not been submitted. So, but nevertheless, all the evidence is on my Facebook account. I keep it publicly posted. The reason why I went so public with everything and so transparent, because the accusations that were continually being made and rumors going throughout the Washington, D.C. Fire Department, and the rumors are still floating out there today, that degrade my character as a firefighter and as a human being, as a firefighter, the whole 9 yards, minister, all of that. This is still degrading. It's still damaging, to my reputation. I spent my life helping people. I've been in public service since I was 16 years old when I first started riding a volunteer fire truck, fire engine. I've done community services, such as president of a COP program in Capitol Heights. We were able to get additional police patrols in that neighborhood, cut the crime down there. I've helped battered women over the years get into shelters, stuff like that. I've helped people throughout my life, whether it was someone that needed something to eat, someone that needed some clothing, even here in Baltimore City, with trying to help people out and talking to people, getting them into drug rehab programs, and setting that incentive for them. I didn't do it for them, they did it for themselves, but I stuck that message in their ear. Hey, that's up to you to do it. That's not up to me. It's your choice to do it. All I can do is give you the info. You got to make a free will choice. But I had no problems with taking someone up to the starting up program at the drug rehab center. This is what I've been doing with my life. Not what I'm been accused of. And it's just so heart-wrenching. Even with the church, I got involved deeper into the church. I can't be as deep as I'd like to be with the church because my work schedule and the distance I'm away from the church, I can't be fully involved like I like to be. But I've also helped out at the church with the safety and security program, greeting at the door. If you look at my Facebook post from this Sunday, I got alerted to something regarding somebody at the church. I made sure, hey, look, I need to notify somebody. I got to be honest with you, I didn't feel up to going to church the other day. But when I got that notice about this guy that got busted for vandalizing another church, I got up, got dressed, and went up to church and notified another safety and security minister and the pastor, because they were unaware of what had happened at the other church. Now, this guy's has not been found guilty yet, so he's not guilty by law. However, there is enough concern with him being arrested to keep an eye on him at the church for the safety and protection of other church members. So, this is what I've been doing to help people throughout my life, and then to be put through the hell that I've been put through for the last 10 years. I at one time believed in the legal justice system. I worked for a law enforcement agency in the federal government. My primary was working in the financial investigations branch, but I went and did other things within the smuggling investigations division. We had 60 branches, and there was a purpose behind that. I believed in the legal justice system. I believed in the sanctity of law. And this is where I have to question, with what's happened, about our legal justice system that I worked within for 10 years prior to becoming a Washington, D.C. firefighter EMT. I have to question what our government's doing in regards to obeying by the rules of law in this country and by the Constitution. This isn't being put out as a political statement or anything like that. This is being put out of what I've observed and what I've had to actually deal with based upon factual accounts. So, I just wanted to get it out there, let people know where I'm at. People have been asked about my personal life. I'm not going to tell you I'm not lonely. I am. I've been letting people know, hey, I'm lonely, but I didn't want to get into another relationship and bring baggage from the old relationship. I'm at the point now, yes, I need some female companionship. I'm a heterosexual male. I need some female companionship. And I don't mean in a sense of sex or anything like that, but, somebody to talk to, someone to share life with, to enjoy the small things in life. I need a little bit of encouragement myself, with having a special somebody that I can share some time with and enjoy what's out there to enjoy in life to counterbalance all the negativity that I've been surrounded under. I know that's what I need at this point. I'm not a social drinker. I don't go out to bars. I don't do certain things. I'm kind of set up for enjoying a quiet evening at home with somebody over some music, candlelight, or going out to a nice dinner, or going to a show or something. I'm not big on the bar scene or anything like that. What holds me back is I am a smoker, so I know that's another holdback with it. I'm a Christian, but I do smoke, so I'm not perfect by any means. But I'm just frustrated this morning. I needed to get it off my chest, and and I honestly believe if you put the truth out there and you put out what's going on, nobody has any ammunition to use against you relevant to it. There's certain things I had to do in the federal government that I had to keep secret. Well, I don't work for the federal government anymore. I don't work at the U.S. Customs Service anymore. I'm a public safety official, at least for another 3.5 months till I retire. But this is where I'm at. Disgusted in the system, yes. But I'm here to help the people. I'm here to do a service to help people. I could have gone out earlier in my life and taken on a job and been greedy and made a lot of money. You know, you're not going to get rich working under another man's wages. That's just a simple fact. Uh, but it is where it is. Anyhow, y'all have a blessed morning. Take care now. Bye.